Hey guys, Rory from ANSgear. We've got some dye goggles up on the table right now. We get a lot of questions on the i4, the i4 Pro, and the i5. Like, what's the difference between those goggles? And so I brought one of each up. So I've got an i4, an i4 Pro, and an i5. Now, as far as the i4 and the Pro go, you're going to see this one called the i4. Sometimes you'll see this one called the i4 Pro. And then this one you'll see called the i4 Pro 2.0. But really it's just the i4 and then the i4 Pro version right there. So the two differences or the two names between the two, they can get a little confusing on those ones. i4 or i4 Pro, i4 Pro 2.0 is really what I would do on those ones. So if you're looking on the site or somebody's talking about something, usually when they talk about an i4, they're talking about this one. When they're talking about the Pro 2.0, they're talking about this one right here. And then I've got the i5 over here. So first off the bat, all of these goggles use the same lens. So they are interchangeable. There is not a i4 lens and then also an i5 lens. They are the same lens, i4, i4 Pro, i5, all use the same lens right there. So getting a lens is very, very simple for them. We'll start with the 4 to the Pro right here as far as what the differences are on those. Obviously, you can see there's a little bit of, I'm going to call it a styling difference. Just when it comes to like the foam earpiece on the side right here, it does look a little different. There's some different texturing on it, but the overall shape is the same right there. So the front shape, if you're looking at it from the front, you can see them right there. They are pretty much the same. This is the Pro 2.0 over here, and then this is just standard i4. Shape-wise, they're the same. Weight-wise, I don't know if that one's going to be a little bit heavier just because it has the different backing on it. Let's see. So that's 10.5 ounces for the i4, 11.3 ounces. And I would expect it to be slightly heavier because really what your difference is on the back side right here is your goggle strap. So between the i4 and the Pro 2.0, you get the GSR strap on this one. So on a standard i4, if you wanted to tighten or loosen, you would want to pull on the strap, pull them together or apart from each other like that. It makes your strap tighter. If you want your strap to be loose, then you can pull them or bring them closer together. It makes it looser right there. For this one, if you want it to be tighter, you turn it. If you want it to be looser, you unturn it. So if I unwind it like that, it makes my goggle strap looser. If I tighten it, it makes my goggle strap tighter. And you can actually see it going out or going back in, just like that. And with the GSR strap on the back, the contact between the back of your head and the strap itself is much bigger because of just the overall size of the GSR strap. This is a little bit thinner on the back. This gives you more contact to the back of your head, so less likely to slip, move around, any of that stuff on there. So really that's your difference between the two. The way the lenses come out on both of these is the same, and we'll talk about that in a minute when we get over to the i5 and talk about lens removal on those. So I'm gonna, from this point on, we're just gonna go off of these two, the Pro 2.0 for the i4 and then the i5 right here. So we're gonna say goodbye to white gold. We'll just put them off to the side right there. All right, so we weighed this one up. This was 11.3, I believe, right? 11.3, 11.4. Let's go to this one. So moving over to the 5, 13. So the 5 is a little bit heavier than the 4 Pro 2.0 right here. Visually, they look different on the front right there. So the grill on the front is different. The slotting is different. You've got more slots on the side, slots up along the top right there, more slotting up through the nose, I think. but just an overall, what do I want to say here? Better breathability, so airflow through. And if you're talking or trying to communicate, since there's more holes in it, it's a little bit easier to get your voice through there and people can hear you a little bit better. Along the top, we've still got the same venting along the top. The foam on the i5 right here is a little bit different. It's a little bit thicker than on the 4. And it has a softer lining on the inside. You can see it's got this gray lining on the inside right here. So it's actually a softer piece of foam that they put over the other foam just to make it a little bit more comfortable on your face. On the inside here, we do have a covering over the chin strap. So where this is going to go underneath your chin, underneath your mouth, it's got a soft foam, or I guess it's kind of foamy. I don't know, it's just a soft piece of material there, so it's more comfortable. But the chin strap is the same. The snap between the chin straps on both of them are the same right there. The inside of the ear, so where the ear physically mounts up to, if I can show you this right here, to the inside right here, there is an extra bit of foam and cushion right there. And that's what's going to rest up against your cheek or your lower jaw and just give you a little bit more comfort right there. So on the Pro 2.0, it doesn't have that. It just has the flat inside of the earpiece right there. Both of them are Velcroed in. So you've got a Velcro dot on the bottom right there and then a Velcro spot right there. And then they stick together to Velcro over there. They both have the GSR strap on there, so if you need to lock that down or whatever, you can. Let's see, lenses. We talked about the lenses being the same. I would say that changing the lenses between the two, the i4 Pro 2.0, much easier to change the lens out on than the i5. So for the i4, like this one right here, if you look inside, there's a little clip that's right in there. It's got a button or a tab that you push and slide forward. So this piece right here, I'm going to push it in. Now sometimes with these goggles, because of the shape of the goggle, how it curves around like this, and the tab being inside here, and you need to push the tab out, sometimes it's really hard to push the tab out because the goggle is curving like this and it's working against you. So if you take a towel like this and you put it on the front so you don't put fingertips or fingerprints on it, you don't have to. You could just grab onto it and do it if you don't, if your hands are clean or you don't worry about cleaning fingerprints off there. I don't want to put fingerprints all over this thing, so I'm going to put this on. And then I flex the goggle out like this and then push the button. It's easier to do. You can do it this way. If you just push real hard, it'll pop. But if you flex it out and then push, it's so much easier to do. And then we can slide it forward like that. And then we do that the other side, flex it out, push it in, slide it forward. And once those two pieces slide forward right there, then we can stick our thumbs inside and we can just pop our lens out and pull it out the front. Now, on the i5, you've got a tab that's right there. All right, and that's the locking tab. There's one on each side on the top, and there's one on each side on the bottom down in here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's right down inside of there, right down in there. But it's the same thing as this one on the top. So what you need to do on the i5 to get that to come off, let me try to zoom in a little bit on that right there. There, you can see it a little bit better right there, is I have to push this down and then slide it forward. But I also have to do that to the one that's on the bottom right there. And they are extremely stiff to push. So you can see that I can push this down. And then if I push forward, you can see how that slid forward right there. And if I pull back on this, it slides back and clicks up like that. So I need to push that down, slide it forward. But now the bottom one, the post or the bracket that is slid forward is just slid forward at the top. So the bottom down here, I need to push up and then slide it forward. So it slides forward as well to release that side of the lens. Now sometimes pushing that lower one up and getting it to slide forward can be a pain in the butt. What I like to do is, like I do with this one, I take my hand and I push on the lens. I push this way, pushing the lens back, and it gives me something to push against while I'm trying to push those two clips in and slide the whole bracket forward. So once I've got that snapped up and in, this whole blue bracket that's right here should slide out if it's unlocked and all the way forward. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to push that forward, and then I can slide that bracket in like that. Now I'm going to switch over to this side. I'm going to push that down, and at the same time with the finger on the bottom, I'm trying to push that one up and slide it forward. But it's not. It's fighting me. And that's the hard part. Some of these get so sticky sometimes down in there that it's really quite hard to get that to push forward. Sometimes you can work one and the other. So I've got the bottom one done right there. So I'm going to try to now work this top one. There it goes. And then I can pull that there. So now I've got that pulled forward. This one is unlocked and I can slide both of them in or hinge them in. And then I can do the same thing. I can get my thumbs inside there and I can push forward and I can pull the lens out the front. So getting the lenses out, definitely easier on the i4. Takes a little bit more work on the i5, just getting those tabs to release and slide forward so that you can hinge those wings in. But once you do it a couple times and you kind of understand the process, it's easy to do. It's not hard. It just takes a little bit of practice on those. Putting the lenses back in, it's just you do in reverse. Put that in there. Make sure the lens goes all the way in like that. One thing I will remind everybody is both these wings that are these blue little wings right here and the clips that we've pushed forward, they lock the lens in place. They actually, let me show you on this one. When I slide this over, you see how there's this little hook right here? That hook is on both sides. It's on that side right there too. On your lens itself, there's a window that's cut out right here. So that hook, when we swing that door shut, that hook is going to come through here, and then when we pull it back, it's going to hook onto this square, and it's going to lock it so that the lens can't pop forward. Same thing happens on these hatches also. If you can see down inside of there, there's a hook. Like, now it's kind of really hard to see down in there, but it's in there. Same kind of thing. It needs to go through the slots on there. If it doesn't, your lens can pop right out. So make sure that your tabs snap all the way through and it locks the lens in place. So once I've got my lens in on these, I'm pushing on it. I'm pushing it to make sure it's all the way set in. I bring my my hinge over and I make sure that it goes all the way over and that it's flush against the side. And then I can pull it back. I can make sure that that tab locks up. Then I'm going to look on the bottom, make sure that tab is locked up. And then I'm going to try to flex it back. I'm going to try to see if I can open it back up again, which I can't. And that way I know my lens is locked inside there. I'm going to do the same thing over here. Make sure it goes all the way over. Pull it back. Check it. Locked. Locked on the inside there. Can't flex it back over. It's good to go. On this one, you need to make sure that both of your tabs that we slid forward are still in the forward position. And you can see there's a little channel right here. There's a channel right there. And right now our tab is in the front of the channel, so I know that it slid forward. When it's in the back of the channel, this top tab you see sticking up will be at the back of the channel back here. So it's all the way forward, which is what we want. And then I'll take my lens, put it in both sides, slide it forward, make sure that it seats all the way in. And then I'm going to make sure that as I slide my tab back, that I'm pushing it over all the way. So I'm forcing it this way. And then at the same time, I'm going to pull it back and I can hear it click into place. And then I can go ahead and kind of try to pull it from the side, make sure that the tab has locked the lens in, and it's good. So kind of long-winded when we're talking about what's the difference between the two of them. But we want to make sure that safety first when it comes to goggles and that your lens is secure in place. So overall, the i5 is a little bit heavier, but it's a little bit bigger. It does also come with, I put it back in the box, there's a mount piece that comes with it that allows you to remove one of these little earpieces right here. And then you have a GoPro or action camera mount that attaches to the side of the goggle, so you can put a GoPro on the side. So that's something cool that comes with the i5 that doesn't come with the i4's, the i4 setup right there. So that's cool. The foam is a little bit bigger for the ear covering on the i5. Goes a little bit, it wraps around a little bit more. But there you have it. So if you're asking or wondering what the real difference between the i4, the i4 Pro, the i5 is, I hope that solves a couple of your questions or answers a couple questions, solves any problems you have. We talked about the lenses, they're all the same, but switching them out, definitely easier on the i4 platform than the i5, but the i5 is definitely not hard. Just takes a little practice. So there you go. Let us know what you think in the comments. We'll see you next time, ANSgear.com.